I'm Charlie from cookingsecretsformen.com. Well, autumn is the time of year when various types of squash find their way to your local grocery store. Give or take, there's about 23 different types of squash. The most common winter squashes in grocery stores are butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and acorn squash. Pumpkin is technically a squash, but not all pumpkins are edible. A lot of them are just for decorations. Because of how we cook squash, most people assume it's a vegetable. However, squash is a fruit because it contains seeds and they flower, just like a tomato, which is also a fruit. So today, I'm going to show you how I roast acorn squash. I grew up eating acorn squash that my mother doused in brown sugar and butter. Yum. It always tasted great as a kid, but maybe not the best thing to eat as you get older. So I've been playing around with a savory version of roasted acorn squash, where you cut into more bite-sized pieces, cover the squash with herbs and Parmesan cheese and butter, and roast it for about 30 minutes, and then the skin is tender enough to eat. So no peeling, just gotta scoop out the seeds. So here's my recipe for roasted acorn squash with herbs and Parmesan. All right, we're gonna start with our roasted acorn squash. We've got the oven preheated to 400. This is an acorn squash, kind of a medium size. And even though Olive is not participating, she likes to watch. So Olive, you come over here. You can see Olive's feet. So what we're gonna do is cut this in half. You can cut it in half any way you want. You cut it this way, cut it this way. It really doesn't matter. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a little bit of the bottom and just a slight bit off the top here, so get rid of the stem. So we want to cut this in half. You see it has seeds in it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to scoop out the seeds. Some people save them. I'm not that industrious. Both sides. All right. Put this to the side. Now, we're going to cut this into bite-sized pieces, and the easiest way to do that is to cut it in rings. All right, so we've got our rings, and all we're going to do, instead of making half moons, which I think you see every once in a while, actually we want to cut them into smaller bite-sized pieces, maybe about that big. So we're going to cut these. And we have a bowl that we're going to put everything in, and we're going to toss with the herbs and the parm. All right, so we cut into bite-sized pieces, mostly uniform. So what we're going to do is, this is some butter. This is about 2.5 tablespoons butter. Just going to pour it on it. I melted it. All right, and I'm going to take a spoon and kind of quickly fold and get as much butter on every piece as possible. All right, and then we've got some salt, pepper. This is salt, pepper, garlic, onion, my own creation that I stole from Tom Garvey. And so that's part of it. And this is the end of my Wheatallion from Ginger from Not For Nothing Homestead. So Ginger, I'm almost out of Wheatallion. So it's her Italian spice blend that she was kind enough to send me. So that's going to go in. I don't want to use it all. And then just about 1/3 cup of Parmesan. So that's going to go in. And I'll do the same thing with the spoon. cover everything. Alrighty. So Olive, I'm going to ask you to move. So I've got a baking tray with parchment paper on it. And so I'm just going to take the squash and spread it out evenly as much as you can. You don't want to give it as much room as possible so they'll roast independently. And so we're going to put them in for about a half an hour. We'll see what we got. So you may, at halfway point, want to turn them because they'll roast pretty good on the bottom. But I kind of liked it with one side roasted and one side a little bit softer. So I'll leave that up to you. So into the oven. All right, out of the oven for a half hour. And we'll just turn over a couple of these so you can see that nice and browned. Another one. Just, it's got a nice char on the bottom. And the skin is completely edible. These are best served hot with whatever meal you're serving, or if it's just a vegetarian meal, these are excellent. So very simple, just squash, Parmesan cheese, a bunch of herbs. If you have wheat Italian from Ginger, Not For Nothing Homestead, you're ahead of the game. A lot of butter, salt and pepper, ready to roll. So hope this easy squash dish comes in handy this fall. Appreciate everyone's support. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, thanks for watching.